Tonight on the big match, Manchester United are in Poland. Their objective, a place in Europe's premier competition. Failure is unthinkable. ŁKS Łódź stand in their way. Hello, good evening. Will United's two-goal lead from the first leg at Old Trafford be sufficient to take them into tomorrow's draw for the UEFA Champions League? That's the question we're about to have answered. The views of John Barnes at half-time. But on the way to Poland, let me just tell you that Celtic's tie away to Croatia Zagreb is already underway. The latest score, Zagreb 1, Celtic 0. So it's now 1-1 on aggregate. Action from that match later as well, but we're approaching kick-off in Łódź, so let's join Ron Atkinson and Clive Tilsley.
Thank you, Bob. Good evening, everyone. We are a long, long way from Old Trafford in every sense tonight. From a state-of-the-art super stadium with a 50,000 crowd for the first leg a fortnight ago to an attendance of just 8,000 and a stadium which really should have gone out with the arc. The pitch is good, though, and that's all this United team are really concerned with. It's a team without Andy Cole, who's been dropped to make way for the return of Teddy Sheringham. It's been a challenging week for Cole, with Dwight York signing and Ole Solskjaer staying. York is not eligible until the league stage of the competition. Paul Scholes and Jaap Stam are back, though. Phil Neville deputises for his injured brother. Ron?
Massive night for Sheringham. He's been given the nod over Coles. His responsibility is to play up there, hold the ball up as a target man, keep possession for United, and therefore deny Woods the chance to keep coming and attacking.
ŁKS Łódź were beaten 2-0 in a Polish league fixture on this ground last Saturday. They tried 5 different forwards in that game without finding the net. Defending the letter of the law tonight, a team of Italian officials headed by referee Cesare Graziano. Manchester United have visited better football grounds. It's not disrespectful, merely factual to suggest that the ŁKS Stadium would not meet the requirements of a Vauxhall conference venue. It's 60 years old, it's run down, there are weeds on the terracing. They were hoping to house 24,000 fans here tonight. The ground record is 40,000, but UEFA insisted on an all-seater policy for the home fans when setting the capacity, and there are only 8,000 seats, so that's the official attendance, although the 600 or so Manchester United fans who've made the long trip to this city 100 miles southwest of Warsaw are ironically standing this evening. Manchester United looking to pass go and take their place at the table for another game of European Monopoly, which might be a good name for this competition in a couple of years' time. The only certainty about Europe's Premier League at the moment is that everyone wants to be in it. And Manchester United have got a 2-goal lead to defend this evening in order to get into it. But ŁKS Łódź coming forward with Nijnik from the outset, and he almost caught Peter Schmeichel out. The Manchester United goalkeeper seemed uncertain about the flight of that shot from Nijnik. Well,
they've certainly shown more drive in that opening minutes than they showed in the whole of the time at Old Trafford. Great surging run from Nijnik. A shot, it's dipping, it's bending. I thought he was in all sorts of trouble, and for a minute I thought that was an opening goal for them. But that is far more positive. Ugly ball for him to deal with, and he's the luckiest man in the world, Schmeichel, to get away with that.
Here's Paul Scholes. On towards Teddy Sheringham, turned away by Krysiak, turned forward by Keane, but given away. Kos with the header. Forward towards Nijnik. Helped on now into the path of Jeszczycki. Nicky Butt caught by Wyciszkiewicz. Manchester United have never lost a 2-goal first leg lead in Europe. They have lost a 3-goal lead once. We're talking 35 years ago. But we're also talking about a team containing Creran, Charlton, Law and Best, which was beaten 5-0 by Sporting Lisbon in a Cup Winners' Cup quarter-final. That after winning the first leg 4-1 at Old Trafford. But that is the only precedent for a catastrophe tonight. Although I dare say there are those amongst you who wouldn't regard an early goal for Łódź as being such a catastrophe. Maybe one or two. There's Jeszczycki, who is leading the attack tonight and who didn't need his head shaving when the Łódź players went under the blade a month ago for their sponsors, because he's bald anyway. Paul Scholes. Run off the ball by Nizhnik, but he managed to somehow regain possession from Benkovsky. Lost out to Pavlak. Has been given to Nicky Butt. Roy Keane. Stump. Now Ronnie Johnson. Inviting Dennis Irwin to go forward. Ryan Giggs. Beckham popping up on the left-hand side. Well, it was meant for Nicky Butt. He didn't anticipate it, and it's presented possession to Krishak. Benkovsky forward. Here goes Lennart down the left-hand side for Łódź. And Phil Neville it was who got back with him.
Certainly the biggest difference you can notice in the Łódź side is their attitude. I mean, they came to Old Trafford, and frankly, I thought they played like scared rabbits. They looked terrified. The occasion was too much for them. Here, they're looking sharp, bright, lively, and about it.
And giving some encouragement to their coach, Marek Juba, in these opening moments. Sheringham beaten to it in the air by Pavlak. Turned on by Vyciszkiewicz out to Lennart. Kos now into the path of Jeszczycki. Late run down the right-hand side comes from Jakubowski, and Giggs has had to go all the way back with him. Jakubowski has got in across, and it was Zuberek who was attacking the ball, and it was Roy Keane who turned it away. Vyciszkiewicz. Krishak. Back to Benkovsky. Łódź trying to keep the early pressure on. Lennart. Kos. Has played in behind Zuberek. Kos has found Zuberek. Now Lennart. Vyciszkiewicz. Pavlak has made a run from the back, and Giggs has had to do some defending in the last minute or so. Rather tentative start by Manchester United.
As I think, by the way they set the team out to play Sheringham and Scholes up front, they made up their mind, although Beckham's running long here, which is something he does very well. The ball's not, unfortunately, played into his path. But I think they're certainly going to say, let's try and retain possession. I think the danger in that is, of course, it does invite the Polish team onto them a little bit. And certainly the Polish team are very, very positive and very lively at the moment. They look
on the ball.
They look a completely different outfit from the one who was so tame at Old Trafford.
Nizhnik, who gave Manchester United that early scare. Intercepted by Irwin. Sheringham on into the path of Giggs. There are two others in the break. Scholes and Beckham are a long, long way away from Ryan Giggs, though. The defenders were close.
Yeah, I think Ryan Giggs is one that they will certainly single out for attention. I mean, he was particularly impressive in the first match, in the home game. And I think they know all about his ability to run distances. He's the one that will probably be United's best chance of making counter-attacks. He's the one with the pace.
Keane looking to get Irwin in behind Jakubowski. Jabbed into the path of Sheringham. Now here is Ryan Giggs. Not quite on the same wavelength as Dennis Irwin. Krishak had to make a clearance in the end and gave it straight to Roy Keane. This is Ronnie Johnson. Into Sheringham. Tried to set up Giggs. It's come for Keane, and Sheringham has another opportunity here. Firm defending, though, by Krishak, who did well against Andy Cole in the first game. Kos to Lennart. Jakubowski to Vyciszkiewicz. Kos. Just altogether a more confident-looking team on the home turf.
I was just thinking the team that came to Old Trafford must have been relations of these. It certainly doesn't look like the same players. I'm seeing players here, and he's in trouble here. Schmeichel very much in trouble. Well done his clearance. He's been charged down there. Kos has charged him down, but quite frankly, he's lucky to get out of that, and Alex knows it. He'll not be happy with the start at the moment, Alex.
A sensible performance. They were the words he used when I asked him what he was looking for earlier on today. So far, ŁKS Łódź have made enough of a nuisance of themselves to really harass Manchester United.
And also to lift your own expectations, because it looks now as if we're going to get a far better game than, if we were honest, than we'd be expecting.
Appreciate just have a cut there on the forehead. He's reputed to be the hard man of the team, so...
Came off with a bad split, didn't he, at Old Trafford?
Yeah.
And
came back on.
He doesn't want to go off in a game like this.
Johnson. Toss forward towards Beckham. Leonard didn't quite get the job done. Pavlak does, though. Irwin trying to steer it into the corner towards Giggs. He's a little unlucky. Giggs has been flagged here.
He's given Scholes offside, and that'd be marginal. Very marginal.
Giggs has scored the opening goal at Old Trafford a fortnight ago after 15 minutes. But Manchester United had to wait. Well, that's...
It's not offside.
Certainly not Giggs.
No, he's given Scholes offside, but he's not offside there.
Manchester United had to wait until the 81st minute of the first leg for Andy Cole to make the most of some excellent work by Giggs and Irwin to double their money on the night. Cole sitting on the substitutes bench this evening, alongside the likes of Oli Solskjaer and Henning Berg and David May and Jordi Cruyff.
A little bit of a needles foul then from Viesczycki, wasn't it? I mean, Ronnie Johnson was under pressure. There was a fair chance he was going to get a corner there. And he's let Man United off the hook with that.
Here goes Viesczycki again. Nizhnik. Jakubowski. Nizhnik in towards Zuberek, who couldn't quite bring the ball under control. And that's a loose one from Beckham, which Phil Neville just managed to get to.
Yeah, they're going to find it hard, Man United, if they hit gully balls up to the front too, because obviously Teddy Sheringham wants everything played into him. He's far better at receiving balls to feet. He's going to find it hard to run the gullies, particularly when one of the wide defenders just comes out and cleans that position out.
Nicky Butt, Teddy Sheringham. Here's Roy Keane. Very precise ball by Butt, played for Scholes. Now Dennis Irwin. Scholes trying to scamper into the box. More news from Zagreb, where Celtic started the evening with a one-goal lead against Croatia Zagreb. That was wiped out by Silvio Maric's goal, and Croatia Zagreb have now taken the lead in that tie with a penalty from Robert Prosinecki. On the night, it's Croatia Zagreb 2, Glasgow Celtic 0 on aggregate. Croatia Zagreb 2, Glasgow Celtic 1. That game kicked off at 7:30 this evening. Scholes. Keane. Cut out by Kos. It was just a little bit too tight, that, for Manchester United. Nizhnik having his pocket picked by Beckham, though, by Giggs, and here is Beckham, who seemed to be manhandled by Viesczycki. Wrapped his arm around the neck of David Beckham as he changed direction. Only Victoria's allowed to do that.
We saw him hit a free kick in Porto from about exactly that same distance, and I think the bar's still rattling out in Portugal.
Beckham, who struck the woodwork in the first leg with a free kick, gets that one to bend and swing, but it just flew beyond the right-hand post of Fepawa without really causing him a problem.
That's an awful wall, by the way. They've given him a good sighting at goal. I mean, the goalkeeper's quite comfortable there. I sometimes wonder from that distance, you know, everybody's conditioned for him to have the shot. I sometimes wonder if he should try a little variation now and again, just flip a little ball in and maybe I think it was Sheringham there looked to have got himself into a good position.
Manchester United have a free kick for a body check on Nicky Butt. Yupstam, who's made a speedy recovery from the thigh injury that he suffered against Leicester City just 11 days ago. Ronnie Johnson, who's kept his place alongside Stam despite an excellent performance by Heddingberg at Upton Park on Saturday. In fact, recognised by the manager, who singled Berg out for special praise. Stam. Forward towards Scholes.
I tell you what, he's going to have some work to do, you know, tonight. The Łódź number 17, Jakubowski. He's got the job when they lose possession of tracking Giggs, and Giggs is taking him all over the field. Jakubowski will also be expected to add sort of attacking power down the right-hand side for Łódź.
You may remember Giggs' opponent in the first leg was the Nigerian player, Darlington Omodwagbi. And he has been replaced tonight. He's injured, actually. He's been replaced by this man, Ariel Jakubowski, who did come on for the last 5 minutes at Old Trafford.
There's a rumour that Darlington is still giddy, by the way, because he didn't look the best defensive player in the world.
Giggs having to do some work inside his own half again. Koss didn't quite time the header, but it's found Krishak. And that's interesting. Forward into the path of Chitsky, well dealt with by Stam. Just for one moment, the big Dutchman seemed to be wrong-footed, but he reacted quickly and headed clear. Offside is the decision. Irwin. That's useful for Giggs. Jakubowski is with him. Irwin has made a good run beyond Ryan Giggs, but back with him has gone Zuberik forward. Sheringham. Beckham. Phil Neville. Roy Keane. Beckham rescuing possession for Scholes. Came to Keane at an awkward height, and Koss was quickly upon him, which is Vyciszkiewicz. Koss hit the referee. Bounced kindly for Sheringham.
Tell you what, hardly anybody's got time to settle in that midfield, have they? The ball's being popped about 1 and 2 touch very, very quickly by both sides. But at the moment, United have arrested a little bit of that drive from Łódź.
Very happy with the surface, Manchester United. Not quite so impressed by the changing rooms, which are actually about a 90-second walk from the playing area and a flight of stairs. Giggs has been penalised. The man on the ground is Nizhnik. I think he did catch him. I'm not quite sure how much intent there was on Ryan Giggs'.
I don't think there was any intent. I think Giggs had actually run back and he's turning back into play there. It's a bit unfortunate he's gone to ground, Giggs. But I think there ought to be a mention of Giggs there. We think of Giggs' silky skills, flying runs, great crosses, great goals. But already in the first, well, for the whole of the game, really, he has done a great job getting back, helping Irwin, covering that space. He's already cleaned up, I would guess, probably about 6 or 7 dangerous situations.
Free kick which Jakubowski will take. Zuberik driven wide. Jakubowski again. Head out by Keane. And some good work as a buffer in front of the defenders. Giggs to Scholes. Now Keane. This is how Manchester United were hoping to spend much of the opening period of the game, just settling things down, seeing a lot of the ball, maybe trying to quieten the crowd. Butters found Beckham. It's a good cross. Miskicked away by Benkovsky, but it got the job done. Stam to Neville. Now Butt. Found a way through to Sheringham. Trying to angle the ball into Scholes, but it was picked off quite comfortably by Vyciszkiewicz. Here's Nizhnik. Showed too much of that to Irwin. hefty block challenge from the Irish international, eventually fouled. Clearly had his shirt pulled in the initial tangle. Scholes tried to turn cleverly there, and Pavlak was completely outfoxed and fouled Paul Scholes.
Sheringham's done a great job for Scholes there. You know, he's made a little run in front of him and enables Scholes. The thing looks as if he's going to lay it off to Sheringham. He does a little dummy on there. And to be fair, it's Scholes' ability more than Pavlak's, shall we say, intent that scores the free kick.
Beckham and Giggs are the favourites again here. It's David Beckham. It clipped off the wall, and it was a dolly catch for Vejpawa. Made his international debut last month, the Łódź goalkeeper for Poland, and was on the substitutes bench when Poland beat Israel last week. Fortunes of the Polish national team very much on the mind of Glenn Hoddle, because they are in England's group for the European Championship qualifiers. Andy Cole hasn't actually been on the Manchester United substitutes bench since last December in Turin against Juventus. Alex Ferguson explained his decision to bring in Scholes and Sheringham, feeling that they were better holding the ball up, and that if Manchester United could monopolise and keep the ball tonight, then it would be half the job done. And here's an opportunity inside the penalty area, which Jędrzejewicz is trying to make the most of, and he was just crowded out, and Beckham got in the clearance. Here is Scholes. Keane on towards Giggs. Chance of a break on here with Sheringham running to Giggs' right, and he very nearly picked him up. Benkowski did well. Here is Scholes. Now Sheringham. And Beckham tried the little trick on the edge of the penalty area. I think the defender thought he'd fouled him, but the referee was close and gave nothing. Zuberek trying to cause some problems. Jędrzejewicz picking up the baton and trying to run Stamp. Nizhnik to Jędrzejewicz. Now Kos into the path of Jakubowski. Kos with the cross, almost found its way through to Jędrzejewicz. More pressure from Łódź. Krysiak now. Kos once more. Towards Zuberek this time. Drove his cross against Phil Neville. ŁKS Łódź have a corner kick, and a little bit of hope here and encouragement.
Well, certainly the game's going a little bit, it's going end to end, isn't it? I mean, there was what looked to be a very good shooting opportunity for Łódź then, and all of a sudden, lightning break to the other end from Man United. Now all of a sudden, they're having to defend a corner again.
Kos was the tallest player in the penalty area. Doesn't reach him though. Beckham sees to that. It's young Wes Brown sitting next to Alex Ferguson, teenager on the Manchester United substitutes bench this evening. And they keep producing them. The nice thing about Brown, he's another Manchester lad from Longside. This is Benkowski. Dennis Irwin saw it coming. Paul Scholes. Giggs breaking to his left, Sheringham away to his right. Maybe the wrong option from Scholes for once. Jakubowski again racing back there with Giggs.
I think that's the problem you've got, though. I mean, Sheringham would probably have been 40 yards from goal then, and you can't really play him a running ball. So that's where it's important that Giggs gets up in support quickly.
Played the last 20 minutes for West Ham on Saturday, Sheringham. Scholes, of course, was on the bench, didn't get on at all. But the manager felt it necessary to rest Scholes. He felt that he's still catching up a little bit from his World Cup exertions. He's out there tonight alongside Sheringham.
Strangely enough, I know the reasons why Alex has picked Sheringham, and I wouldn't argue with them, the very fact that he wants him to retain and control the game from the front. But looking now, there's a lot more space in the Łódź defence than at any given time at Old Trafford. And you'd think that Cole, he'd fancy that, wouldn't he? He'd fancy running the gullies, running off the sweeper and running down the gullies.
Alex felt that because they defend with the sweeper, then pace isn't quite the same weapon when they have a man as deep as Benkovsky is there, and it is against, say, a flat back four. But it was a close call, and Cole may well be in a position to use his speed in the latter stages of the game. We're at the halfway point in the first half of the second leg, and no damage yet to Manchester United, to that lead which Messrs Giggs and Cole set up at Old Trafford. Oh, Johnson's back past us for a moment looked short of the mark. A bit more despair than I imagined. Appreciate. Overhit. Line Giggs that Alex Ferguson is speaking to, but in fact he's just looking to him to pass on a message to somebody beyond him, either Sheringham or Scholes. Keane to Sheringham. Early ball in this time towards Scholes. Benkovsky just about dealt with it. Jakubowski miscontrolled. It's come here for Nicky Butt, and it's a well-struck volley by Butt, and it came back off the goalkeeper, and first to react was Vito Benkovsky, the sweeper.
Certainly the best moment for Man United and the closest they've come to scoring.
Phil Neville trying to keep it up. Beckham trying to swing in a cross, which didn't swing nearly enough. That's the goalkeeper's nickname, Bobzio. He is Bogusław Wepało.
I think if they'd have scored from here, I wonder whether it was a good shot. It's an ugly bounce there from Nicky Butt. Keeper's in all sorts of trouble. Fortunately for him, just about ahead of the United player, just about ahead, and managed to clean it out. Giggs is sort of crediting there.
Cross out towards Lennart. Would you have had some pressure in the opening 25 minutes? Nothing which you could call a clear-cut opening. But a much improved performance from the one that they served up at Old Trafford 2 weeks ago. And Manchester United will be grateful for that second goal which Andy Cole scored late in the day there. Protecting a one-goal lead here tonight might have been a bit hairy. Beckham run off the ball by Lennart. Looking for a little bit of help from the assistant referee on the far side.
That looked fairly fair though, didn't it? I thought Lennart seemed to hold his body strength well against Beckham.
Offside. Ronnie Johnson fell awkwardly there as he challenged Pieszczycki. Coach there, Marek Juba, was removed from his job this time last year following a bad result, relegated to number 2, and then was promoted again in March when his number 2, who'd been put in charge of the team, suffered a bad result in Krakow. Chairman moved in on both counts. Juba's back in the senior coaching role at the club. Amazing to think they won a championship while all that was going on. Beckham to Neville. Deflected cross, awkward that for Pavlak, dealt with it pretty well. Given away though by Lennart to Neville again. And Phil Neville has won a corner kick here.
It's well worth whipping in those low crosses on a surface like this. You know, the rain, they've had plenty of rain here, expressing the pitch up. It's a nice skippy pitch, and at both ends, anything that's gone in and zipped off the turf has caused defenders problems.
Giggs has gone across to take the corner. Johnson and Stammer forward. Might reach Sheringham here with the header down, and he didn't quite get enough of his head on the ball. It's a pretty good chance that for Teddy Sheringham.
And I tell you what, there was some good movement there. Stam does particularly well here. He drags people away from the ball, and he lets Sheringham in behind him. It's a little bit like Bruce and Pallister used to do. He's lost his marker. There he is. It's an empty head. It sort of skims down the front of his forehead, really. He hasn't got a full head on it.
It was a looping ball rather than a ball with any real pace on it from Giggs. Beckham. Neville. Keane. Sat up to volley, didn't it, for a second? Started to try and pass, play Sheringham in. Cost brings it away. Fouled by Neville. Cost is doing his best to convince the referee to caution Phil Neville. It certainly wasn't worth that. Nicky Budd is the only Manchester United player who comes into this match with a yellow card to his name. Pavla, Jakubowski. Nizhnik. Kos. Vichkiewicz losing out. We're watching two sides whose only successes so far this season have come in this competition. United, one win from 4 games up to now, that against Łódź a fortnight ago. ŁKS victorious in their preliminary round matches against a team from Azerbaijan, but without a win in 3 Polish league fixtures, and just 3 off the bottom of that league. 2 points from a possible 6 so far. And Juba's maybe beginning to wonder whether they've made the best of this bright start. Nearly half an hour gone. I think mentally that's an important moment in an away leg if you've managed to prevent the home team from scoring, particularly if they've had a little bit of pressure. This is Kos. David Beckham had a bit of a hack at him. Kos overreacting. And a yellow card for David Beckham. Pretty wild challenge, actually.
I think Kos is one of those players that likes to tease people in. He's a great big, tall fellow, but he likes to tease people in and just nicks it there. Oof.
Not too many arguments with that. Free kick to Łódź. Almost a free header for Zuberek, and if anything, Kos in front of him took it away from the number 8. Zuberek was setting himself the volley, and his teammate Kos just got a flick in front of him.
Yeah, I mean, he's appeared in acres of space there, Zuberek. I mean, people might say, why doesn't Kos leave that? Kos won't have a clue that there's anyone else in with a shout there. In fact, Ronnie Johnson looks as if he may have got a touch on it as well, so it may well have been that Łódź should possibly have had a corner. But I tell you what was disturbing, Zuberek was coming into acres of space with no mark on him.
Jakubowski. Keane's challenge ridden by Vichkiewicz. Krysiak. Here's Jakubowski again. Pavla. Nizhnik running forward. Jonsson towering above him. Benkowski. Zuberek. Nizhnik. Nicky Butt kept his eye on the ball and eventually got to it.
I think that early shot of Nizhnik, you know, the early break when he powered one past Michael, in a way may have helped United, because straight away now United are doing what I like them doing best. They're playing at a high tempo. They're having to play at a high tempo, but they haven't had one of those what I call sterile, patient, sophisticated games that I don't think they're so good at.
Jakubowski winding up a long throw here. Michael came and went. Giggs headed it back across his own penalty area, but couldn't clear. Nizhny almost got to it. Stam did well to mop up there. Good positive defending from Stam. Jakubowski almost got it back. Irwin away. Benkovsky. Here's Kos. Giggs read that well. Here goes Ryan Giggs. Just one defender too many. Pavlak had stayed in there.
Well, that was a let-off, wasn't it? Giggs looks as if he was going to get a head of steam up there. Unfortunately for Łódź, Pavlak just coming back into play has managed to nick it off his toe.
Manchester United are hoping that Jesper Blomqvist, summer signing from Sweden, will be fit to play a reserve game this time next week. And when he gets into the team, interesting to see what Giggs' role is. Beckham, meanwhile, in towards Sheringham. Krysiak got up in front of him. Stam trying to make it his. Maybe a little push there by Jupp Stam. No international commitment for Stam the week after next. Interesting, actually, Holland, of course, don't have to qualify for the next European Championship, so they have 2 years of friendly matches ahead of them, and so maybe the traffic of international matches, which is such a factor now for Premiership managers to cope with, won't be quite so heavy for Stam.
And ominously enough, Bergkamp and Overmars.
Jakubowski. Owen held him up, no more. Vichkiewicz. Johnson went in strongly, but then lost out, needed some help from Keane. Owen to Scholes. But to Keane. Now Phil Neville, who played most of the second half at West Ham on Saturday in place of his brother Gary, who has a hamstring problem. Good running by Sheringham, picked out by Johnson, held up by Krysiak. But in front of Scholes was Pavlak. Vichkiewicz. Now Stam penalised. Well, it was a nudge at most. And he nudges you, though.
I was just going to say, he looks as if he's just come at one of spaghetti westerns.
The problem of the lost revenue from the 2/3 reduction in capacity has been tackled here by more than doubling the ticket prices. £10 a ticket, a lot to find to see a football match in Łódź. But it was justified by the club owner on the grounds that tickets to see the Rolling Stones in Katowice last week were £20, twice as much again. The way the Champions League seems to be heading, it may be the last time the likes of Manchester United visit the likes of Łódź. Maybe the last time, I don't know.
You were going to say the Rolling Stones?
Well, definitely the last time the Rolling Stones will come over, I would think. Giggs. I'm sure Johnson was quite expecting that. Giggs has won that. Keane. Neville. Now Beckham. Oh, he was definitely caught there by Leonard, but Manchester United have retained possession. Might just have spared Leonard a yellow card. Now Butt. Phil Neville. Well, that was a good cross for somebody who was prepared to gamble on the near post. Giggs made that gamble, didn't quite come off for him.
Yeah, but that's the sort of shape of ball in that's going to cause problems. They've got a lot of room on that right-hand side, Beckham and Neville, if they can get good possession. And to be fair to Keane, who I think is playing very, very sensibly, every time he gets possession, he's looking to just switch it out through Philip Neville. But Neville making a run from very deep, and the ball is too deep.
Just a reminder that in Zagreb, Celtic trail Croatia Zagreb by 2-0 on the night. Silvio Maric and Robert Prosinecki, the goal scorers, and by 2-1 on aggregate. Here in Łódź, Manchester United's 2-goal first leg lead is holding.
So actually, I think United are playing well now. Had a few hairy scares at the start of the game, but I think now they're playing at a good pace, good tempo. The passing's been nice and crisp. And they haven't been in a lot of trouble, although the Polish team are certainly a far better outfit than they showed at Old Trafford. I mean, the game is a lot livelier than certainly than the first leg.
On by Giggs. Turned away by Krysiak. Nizhnik held up by Irwin. Vyciszkiewicz, Nizhnik. Jakubowski. Nizhnik didn't read his intentions. Irwin did. To recap then the substitute specifications in the Champions League competition, Manchester United can use any 3 of their 7 nominated substitutes tonight. Wes Brown, Andy Cole and David May in shot there. Giggs trying to steal a march on Jakubowski. Certainly turned him. Ryan Giggs in towards goals, well claimed by Vepawa. Darting run from Giggs, full of energy, electricity. Manchester United now coping with the Łódź threat with far more comfort. Seem to have their opponents pretty much where they want them at present.
Yeah, they're in control of the game. I mean, early on you thought, yeah, Łódź might get a goal and make a real sort of fight of it. But at the moment, particularly this fella, they seem to be the most likely to score now, United.
Giggs in towards Sheringham. Well, he just tried to steer the ball goalwards. Giggs again, the provider. Sheringham a yard or so off target.
I mean, that's another electric run through the middle from Giggs, off the ball, receives. And there he is, turns it into Sheringham's path. Now, did he go for goal here, or did he try to control it? Now, I'm not too sure whether he actually went for goal there, or whether he just tried to knock it into his run, knock it into his own path. He's just basically trying to get across the defender and get a second shot in, isn't he? But
Zuberik trying to run Stam, who just ran across him. Zuberik told to get to his feet. I thought that was worth an indirect free kick at least.
It'd have been interesting there, because Zuberik, if you remember going back to the first leg, was the one that showed us he had one run in the second half of Old Trafford, and he had a power run. And that'd have been very interesting then to see how Stam and he would have got on together there. And I would agree with you. I think the referee may have been a bit lenient on Stam there.
Nicky Butt's having a good game here for Manchester United. Amazing thing about Nicky Butt, which tells you how these Manchester United youngsters have grown up with this competition. This is his 24th appearance in the old European Champions Cup tonight. And you know, only 3 men in Manchester United's history have now made more appearances than Nicky Butt. Beckham free kick. Turned over his own crossbar by Koss. Now Manchester United have a corner. But there is real experience now in the Manchester United ranks, even though the likes of Butt is only 23, Giggs is only 24, Scholes 23, Beckham 23. They've all played 20 or more European Cup games. Giggs with the corner. Swung in towards Keane. It'll come for Ronnie Johnson. Didn't really get hold of it. It was on target. Power, the goalkeeper, did get hold of it. But filling in. Well, they've got a problem here. 3 in the Łódź attack. Nizhnik now making that 4. Held up by Johnson and by Beckham, and Manchester United have got a counter on with Ryan Giggs on the ball. 4 in it. Beckham to his right. Giggs has played Beckham in here. Lovely break and a good save by Powerwell from David Beckham. Real edge about Manchester United, a cutting edge. That
would have been a brilliant goal by two midfield players, or two wide midfield players, who have absolutely worked the socks off up and down, Beckham and Giggs. I mean, he's made up distances there. He deserved a goal for that. Good save, but the run to catch up, because he actually won the ball, I would guess 20 yards in his own half there, Beckham. Service Giggs, and then went on the overlap past him.
Both taking a little breather, and they deserve it. Giggs with the corner. Headed away by Benkovsky, only as far as Nicky Butt. Well, it wasn't the best of shots, but the last 5 or 10 minutes have belonged wholly to Manchester United.
I mean, that goal, not goal, but near goal from the last attack, you know. The athleticism of Beckham there was phenomenal, and the awareness of Giggs. I mean, I think they owe a lot to them tonight. There's been sensible performances. You said it rightly, the back four particularly have been sensible, the two central midfield players, but the industry from the wide midfield players, if you like, the flair players of the side, have been phenomenal. They've backtracked, they've got up and down the flanks, and they've been very often the furthest most attackers.
Roy Keane.
There's that out ball again. Neville's got Akers out there, and Keane spots him very quickly.
Phil Neville starting a Manchester United game for the first time this season, first time since April. Ball towards Teddy Sheringham, starting his first game of the season, and slipping the defender. He's got 3 to aim for, he drove it in. Scholes was at the near post, Giggs at the far. I think he quite struck that as he intended.
Now, I think Beckham had checked out as well to the corner of the box looking for a cutback. But very, very encouraging now from United.
Last minute of the first half. Leno. Jakubowski. With just one added minute due at the end of the 45 minutes. Minute away from 15 minutes in the company of Alex Ferguson, and I think he'll be pretty happy with everybody who sits in that tiny dressing room in a moment's time. Ron, yeah?
Oh, very much so. I mean, what I feared was they'd come out and sit off the game and sit behind the ball, play in their own half, and just be content. But I think that early break of Nizhnik stung them, and I think they've retaliated in the best possible way by playing positively. And at the moment, look, far more likely. I mean, I thought they'd come in and win easy before the game. Early on, you thought perhaps not. Looking at it now, you look at United and think they look the team most likely to win it, don't you? They're full of verve. All right, they haven't had as many attempts at goal as they would like, but for the away team in a European match, they're doing well.
Probably the last attempt of the first half. Corner kick. Johnson and Stammer forward. Short by Giggs to Beckham. Ryan Giggs. Well, they're running the show between them. Show which has reached the interval. David Beckham, who picked up a yellow card, the real black mark on Manchester United's record in this first half of the game. But generally speaking, they've got better and better and looked in control for the last 15 minutes. 0-0 on the night. They still lead by 2-0 on aggregate. We'll be back with Bob Wilson after this break.
Hello again, it's ŁKS Łódź 0, Manchester United 0 at half-time in Poland, but more bad news for Celtic, I'm afraid. Another goal in their tie against Croatia Zagreb, and this is it. Celtic already 2 down tonight, remember, and a third goal here from Robert Prozanecki, which I think must have taken a deflection by Jonathan Gould. So that's 3-1 against on aggregate there. Now I think Alex Ferguson is waiting for us. We can go and hear from him right now.
First of all, any changes? No changes, Gary. Keep the same team.
Okay, now a very scary opening, but do you feel you've got control?
I think we have now, but as you say, well, we expected that because they're 2-0 down, they're at home, and if they're going to get any joy, it's going to be early in the match. I feel we've sorted that part out, and we seem to be sensible about our game, and another 45 minutes with that kind of control, then we'll have a chance and we'll get through, I think.
Now, we've explained why you're playing Sheringham and not Andy Cole tonight. Do you think that's working for you?
Well, we've got good possession up front. Teddy's worked really hard. He and Scholes, they'll link very well together. And we're getting good penetration from Ryan Giggs and David Beckham, so we just hope to continue that way.
Thanks.
Well done, Gary.
It's Manchester United's 4th visit to Poland. They beat Legia Warsaw in the semi-finals of the Cup Winners' Cup 8 years ago en route to Rotterdam, and glory for Alex Ferguson and company against Barcelona. That was their last visit, but only 2 English club sides have ever won European games on Polish soil, United and Liverpool. I actually saw Liverpool lose a European Cup quarter-final on this ground in 1983, where they were beaten 2-0 by ŁKS Łódź. It was in the days of martial law in Poland. First thing we saw when we arrived at the hotel were bread queues in the streets outside. All phone calls were centred at the exchange in those days. It's a different world in Poland now. Paul Scholes to Ryan Giggs. And Manchester United can pick up where they left off just before half-time. They really can put this tie to bed in the next 15 minutes or so. Giggs into the path of Irwin, who's ridden the challenge well, but ran into Benkowski. And one of the bright spots of Manchester United's huff and puff start to the new season, Dennis Irwin. He's come back in high form.
I'll tell you what he does. Every time Giggs nicks off inside somewhere, he loves to come down that space, and Giggs is very aware of him. I mean, they linked up for the second goal brilliantly at Old Trafford, and I thought for a minute they were going to see a carbon copy of it then.
And Owen actually played in that semi-final victory in Warsaw in '91. He's the only survivor now of the squad that was on duty in Rotterdam for the final. All the other starters that night and the 5 substitutes have all left the club. McClare and Pallister, the last 2 in the summer. Koss. Tackled by Dennis Irwin right on cue. Here's Teddy Sheringham. Now Ryan Giggs. David Beckham. Instant control. Out to Paul Scholes. Neville has made a run beyond Scholes. And Scholes' cross is disappointing, and Neville's got to go all the way back.
Yes, you would have thought from there Scholes would have produced a better ball. He wasn't under great pressure. There was the end product of a great movement from United. But more to the point, Sheringham would get himself a lovely position on the second post.
Beckham to Scholes. Now Keane. Irwin. On to Butt. Giggs to Irwin. Wood started the first half with such a flurry. And Manchester United can hold on to the ball for a little while. They'll deny them that opportunity. Here's Nizhnik, who almost embarrassed Schmeichel in the very first minute of the game. Lennart. Here's Nizhnik again. Who managed to hook it back, and Schmeichel had to pluck that out of the air with Jeszczycki coming in behind him. An element of surprise about the Nizhnik cross in the end.
Yeah, it was a very good deep cross, and as you say, Schmeichel had a nice little stand. It looks as if he's got a problem there, but he's got right under, he got it dug out to the far post, and Schmeichel just about gets it.
Beckham. Didn't quite reach Sheringham. Krzysiak sorted that. Stam though to Irwin. Far more solid and assertive start to this second half though by Manchester United. Giggs on the ball. But in towards Irwin again. Forcing Koss, his opposite number, to go back with him. But joining in now. Irwin. Giggs. Irwin eventually dispossessed by Koss.
I think Giggs should have helped him a little bit more. Irwin was a bit undecided then whether Giggs was going to run on or whether he was just going to check out for the ball.
Jeszczycki. Stam plenty strong enough. Beckham. That's a superb ball into the path of Sheringham. Early in towards Scholes. Nice idea. Didn't quite come off. Benkovsky came between them. It was another bright Manchester United attack.
A good movement from Sheringham there. Spun on the shoulder of the last defender and received the ball in quite a fair bit of space.
Beckham. Delightfully into the path of Phil Neville this time. Beckham can't get enough of the ball. Hung up towards Teddy Sheringham.
Yeah, Phil Neville and David Beckham can have the time of their life out on this right-hand side. I mean, every time the ball's changed out there, they're invariably, there's acres of space and they're invariably got 2 against 1 out there.
That's Piotr Matis, who's a young forward who looks set to come on.
I mean, apart from Nizhnik's cross, I mean, United must be very, very happy. I mean, they're completely all over Woods at the moment.
Stam under pressure from Jeszczycki. But they're dealing with every element of this game very capably at present.
Yeah, Woods look as if they could do with a front player who can run over the top of defenders or run behind defenders. At the moment, they're having to play most things into the front people, and United can squeeze right up on top of them.
Zuberek, who's going to leave us, and here comes number 21, Piotr Matis, who's 20 years of age, has only ever played 2 games for ŁKS Łódź, but interestingly was training with PSV Eindhoven last year and has been telling everybody in the media here in Łódź that he knows how to score against Jaap Stam. They were at Eindhoven together, although Matis never actually played for the first team there. You see him tell Stam to his face. Nizhnik might get the chance now. Vyciszkiewicz to Koss. Playing behind Jeszczycki.
I certainly think if he's going to have to make any impression on Stam, he'll have to do his work behind Stam. I think Stam's quite happy when people are in front of him, when he can get close and tackle. Whether he's as content as we saw against the Anelka when people stretch him wide and have it down the gullies against him.
Pavlak Seda. A bit of vocal encouragement for Łódź. Marek Juba, who was the captain of the Polish team, which went to the semi-finals of the World Cup in 1982, beaten by 2 Paolo Rossi goals there. And in charge of Łódź. But seemed to be foul there. This is Matis, the substitute. Plenty of options. That wasn't a very good one. Straight to Irwin.
You've got to believe he's a better scorer than his passer there.
Keane. Now Beckham. Scholes and Sheringham are in the box. It's in low towards Sheringham. Good effort, didn't quite get enough on it. He thinks it should be a corner kick. Referee has given a goal kick. Again, Beckham set it up.
Yeah, great ball from Beckham. Teases in at the near post. I actually thought Sheringham might have attacked the ball even earlier. He's a touch unfortunate. He's right, he's spot on it. It should have been a corner, but I thought Sheringham should have been working harder to get across the defender there. Then that would have been a goal. We wouldn't have been talking whether it should have been a corner or not. In fact, funnily enough, you know, the games I've seen this season, that seems to be something that's disappearing a little bit from the English Premiership. Players attacking the near post from crosses. Whether they're getting conditioned to have the ball played into feet all the while.
No need for Schmeichel to take any unnecessary risks. So it's got to be retaken.
But unlucky there, you know, Łódź. Quick thinking, but unfortunately somebody thrown another ball on as well. In fact, there were times in the first half when they could have done with another ball to play with.
Nijnik. Matisse. Tackled by Stamp. Nijnik showed cost a lot of the ball, but he won it from Butt. He is big. Lennart. Nijnik. Hacked down by Neville.
Actually get the impression that Łódź's best chances are going to come either from this guy Nijnik, or if Big Kos can get on the end of something. Big Kos looks a bit of a thrust and a threat, and he pushes himself forward.
Post number 3 is in there. Nijnik will take the free kick. Didn't clear the first defender, who is David Beckham. Long throw from Nijnik, headed away by Keane. Mickey Butt. And the Manchester United midfield really have protected their defence so well tonight. Workaholics, all 4 of them. Roy Keane. Ryan Giggs. There'll be 1 or 2 managers down the Football League will be going in tomorrow morning and saying to their players, did you see how Beckham and Giggs were working last night? All that talent they have.
Certainly are an object lesson, but I mean, it's so beneficial to the team, isn't it?
Sheringham trying to play Scholes in.
I mean, people will say about playing with wide players, you know, if you've got wide players that are as industrious and as talented, I mean, that's the first necessity. They've got to have the talent, but when you see people of this talent and the industry they're putting into, that's great.
On some of the free kick, Sheringham was flattered there by Krishak, but didn't get a free kick. Sheringham still down. Benkowski has played the ball out of play so that Sheringham can receive some treatment.
The irony of it all, Sheringham has just got up and walked back.
So he had that one season in Europe last season. He missed out with Nottingham Forest and Tottenham Hotspur on this experience, Tony Sheringham. So much international experience, of course. Vichishkevich, I should say. Tackled by Keane on Kos. Benkowski down the line towards Lennart. 3 others forward in this attack for Łódź. But it came to Bieszczycki at an awkward height. He couldn't control it. Giggs back on the ball. Beckham looking to link up with him again. Just asked a bit too much of David Beckham. Matisse. Jakubowski back to Krishak. Now Benkowski. Good strong work by Dennis Owen again, and he almost played David Beckham in. Benkowski just managed to intercept.
It was a vital footing, wasn't it, by Benkowski, because Beckham had absolutely run clear.
Sheringham jumping with Krishak, who felt that. Bieszczycki. Trying to beat them all on his own. Beckham. He was looking for Scholes. It was an ambitious pass. Manchester United have Oli Solskjaer stripped off and ready to go. Little reward for his loyalty to the club this week, having rejected a £5.5 million move to Tottenham Hotspur. Down the years, Manchester United have won as many games as they've lost in the old Eastern Bloc. But they had some recent setbacks, notably in Russia against Torpedo Moscow and Roda Volgograd during the Alex Ferguson era. Ron will remember Videoton of Hungary in the quarter-final of the UEFA Cup in '85 when Manchester United lost on penalties. And Vitsev Łódź, the other team in this town, beat them at the start of the '80s. Here's Giggs.
Thought you said you'd never ever mention Videoton again. But strangely enough, we're almost as bad as this team are tonight, or as we were at Old Trafford.
In the book somewhere, I dare say. Here's Pavlak. Forward towards Nizhny. Oh, Schmeichel was a little bit casual there. This is Wyszczycki. And fortunately for Manchester United, Wyszczyckiewicz couldn't get to the ball because of the referee. I think Schmeichel's been a degree under one way or another tonight.
He's actually been served some back passes that I don't think they should have been given him. I think the defenders maybe could have got themselves out of jail a little bit easier. He's made a meal of that, by the way, Matisse.
Good challenge, wasn't it, by Stam?
He's definitely made a meal of that.
And the two men who were together in Eindhoven last year.
But that was, getting back to the point of which they haven't quite mopped up yet. I mean, this is still due to the fact that Schmeichel made a very sloppy clearance.
Free kick which Tomasz Kos, number 3, is going to take. Low, took a deflection, and wide. And it's a corner kick. Ronnie Johnson it was.
And it was tantalising at one stage. That's the second one that's nearly gone in on him.
Turned away by Beckham. Benkowski. Flipped in towards Wyszczycki. Turned away by Stam this time. Krysiak. Jakubowski. Now Benkowski. A little bit of rain starting to fall in Łódź. Pavlak out of play, and maybe that little spell of danger has passed.
Once again, it shows how little things can change a game. I mean, they haven't been a threat, Łódź, apart from one isolated moment. All of a sudden, a sloppy ball from the goalkeeper, and a little bit of momentum builds up. Almost a goal against them.
It's interesting that for now, Alex Ferguson seems to have abandoned that substitution he was going to make. Solskjaer is sitting down again. Phil Neville. Played behind Kintu, but... And now Irwin. 3 in the box here. Dennis Irwin with a cross. Teddy Sheringham with a header. David Beckham. Oh, he was caught then. It was Wyszczyckiewicz who came across. It's good strength and skill again from Beckham, and that was a savage challenge.
Well, apparently he played very, very well at West Ham, didn't he, on Saturday, from all reports, and tonight he's been excellent.
Don't boo him here. Stam and Johnson are forward. Beckham delivers in towards Sheringham in his favoured near post area, but he did push Krysiak, and a free kick has been given against Manchester United. I can confirm that Glasgow Celtic are out of this competition. Beaten 3-0 tonight in Zagreb by Croatia Zagreb. 2 goals there for Robert Prosinecki. 3-1 the aggregate score in favour of Croatia Zagreb, who go into the Champions League. Ryan Giggs is making way for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Came on for the last 10 minutes of the first leg. Hasn't played for Manchester United since then. He's got a little over 25 minutes tonight. Never really fit last season, I don't think. Not sure he was when he went to the World Cup either.
Butt's gone onto the left-hand side of midfield, and it looks as if Scholes has gone back into the position he occupied for most of last season. Sort of, if you like, high inside left position, and Solskjaer, fortunately, has gone up the middle. I was hoping he wasn't going to go on the left-hand side, because when he's played in there, either for club or indeed for Norway, he's not looked happy with it.
Ryan Giggs getting a rest and a bit of a teach-in next to the manager. Sheringham's flighted header towards Solskjaer, almost came for Nicky Butt. Jakubowski it is who brings it away.
He, by the way, will be very, very happy to see the back of Ryan Giggs, Jakubowski.
Schmeichel finding Solskjaer. I don't think he quite found a touch on the ball. Jakubowski. Benkowski. Irwin rock solid again. As I say, that of course gives the ball away. Kos. Jeszczycki. Played forward by Kos, and he almost got Mattis in, but A, there was an offside flag, and B, Stam intercepted.
I think United are doing that more on the occasions I've seen them this season. They're trying to hold a higher line, and I think a lot of that might be the influence of Stam. I mean, the Dutch have got this way of playing at the back where they like to defend fairly high up the park.
But taking a tumble, caught by Kos. Yellow card for the big number 3 of ŁKS Łódź.
Yeah, he's been ready to boil over at any given time. I think he's missed him there, actually. I think he's been done for intent.
Sheringham has been joined by Keane and by Solskjaer in the box. Beckham just diverts it out to the left-hand side, and Nicky Butt. Here is Solskjaer. It's a nice turn by the Norwegian. Couldn't quite rid himself of the markers, and in the end has given it away to Mattis. Oh, and he's given it straight back to Solskjaer, and he's played it straight behind Sheringham to Kos. And the colour blindness, I think, there for a moment, setting in. Irwin dispossessed by Mattis. Nijnik. Oh, well seen by Scholes, just ran him off the ball. Been a difficult midfield to pass tonight, that Manchester United midfield. Very compact and very industrious. Keane's had a steady sort of game.
Yes.
Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Nicky Butt. Solskjaer has found some space in behind Pavlak and has found a corner. A lot of competition suddenly for positions in the Manchester United forward line. Dwight York will be eligible for the league section of the competition. Did Manchester United do nothing silly in the final quarter here? Jaap Stam, who was involved in that section with PSV Eindhoven last year. Beckham with a shot. Goalkeeper found it too hard to handle. Roy Keane! Well, he won't need me to tell him that he should have done better there. What a terrific strike by David Beckham in the first place.
I mean, he's cutting off the corner. He's got plenty of whip on it. The keeper's parried it, you might say. Should the keeper have hung on to it? And he sliced across the ball there, Keane.
Getting fitter, though, the Manchester United skipper. His 5th game in 17 days this, after nearly a year out with a bad injury. Nicky Butt. Bit of shooting practice now for Manchester United. They felt the goalkeeper tipped that over. Butt is convinced of that. Referee's not.
I'm not sure the linesman hasn't given offside there, you know. Linesman had his flag up for that. Can't know in the world he's offside. The defender's that deep, and he definitely tipped it. It's a good effort, that, from Butt. He's definitely got a nick on it, yeah. Getting back to Keane, it's been a great game for him, because he hasn't had to go racing here, there and everywhere. He's just sat in the middle of midfield, steadied the ship, and passed the ball about.
Here's Nijnik, though. Fancied his chances. The weight was taken off the shot by Phil Neville, who got back there.
He certainly looks the biggest driving threat, the number 9 Nizhnik from midfield.
Beckham run off the ball by Leonard. Nizhnik. Bieszczycki just trying to help the ball on to Wyciszkiewicz. Sharp pass from Scholes and from Sheringham. On goes Keane now. Just plays through the legs of Kos for Scholes. I was talking to one Premiership manager at the weekend who felt that it was only a matter of time before Roy Keane moved back alongside Jaap Stam to the heart of the Manchester United defence.
I must say, I saw him an awful lot at Forest where he played central defender, and he is a magnificent central defender, I'll tell you that now. But when you've got a player as good as he is, he stays in midfield. I think, talking a matter of time, it'll only be a matter of time before he's back to full fitness. I mean, he's looked a lot better tonight than he did in the previous games. As I say, played sensible, hasn't tried anything over-ambitious, hasn't gone on any of those big, long, surging runs he goes on when he's in his at his peak. But that will come over the course of the next month or two.
Inside the last 20 minutes, Manchester United, as they were when they left for Łódź yesterday morning, still leading by those first leg goals from Ryan Giggs, who's been substituted tonight, and Andy Cole, who's still waiting on the substitutes bench. This is Nizhnik, and knocked out of play because his teammate Jakubowski is in need of some treatment. The next football we'll be bringing you, incidentally, from foreign climes is England's opening European Championship qualifier in Sweden on Saturday week. And Poland are in the same section and visit Bulgaria the following day in their opening qualifier. And they've won their last 3 internationals, Poland. Since the World Cup, they've beaten Russia, Ukraine, and then last week, Israel. No LKS players in the national side, indeed only 5 home-based players, but Poland, who haven't had a particularly good international team for some time now, just showing signs of putting a team together, which might just still be a factor in that group, which England, Sweden and Bulgaria are the major players in. Wyciszkiewicz. Matty's trying to help it forward. Jaap Stam hasn't done much wrong tonight.
That's what defenders do, you know, natural defenders do that. He could have let that run on to the goalkeeper, plays the percentage, and then turns around to Schmeichel and just says, or whatever the Dutch is for it, sorry, knew you were there, but I had to play safe.
Stam into the path of Beckham. Offside. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Some poor souls from Manchester United will have to go to Monte Carlo tomorrow if they're successful tonight. That's where the draw for the Champions League stage of the competition will be held around about 4 o'clock English time tomorrow in Monte Carlo. Never have it in Rotherham, do they? Nizhnik. And by Bieszczycki. I'm still can't say that. Bieszczycki. Beckham. Towards Solskjaer. Headed away by Pavlak. This is Wyciszkiewicz. And now Kos. Kos has made a forward run here. Scholes going back with him, but being completely dwarfed by the number 3. I don't think Juba has too many more trump cards to play. He's trying to stay dry, which is what Ron and I are trying to do. It's pouring down here now. Leonard. Nizhnik. Kos. Talked a couple of times this evening about the increased know-how that Manchester United are gaining in Europe. I think that's been very evident tonight, Ron. They belong on this stage now, these players.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they've got some very, very assured players who, you know, at this level and have played a lot of international football.
Quarter-finalists last season, semi-finalists the season before. Stam didn't quite break out of the Champions League group last year because of Dynamo Kiev. It was on the winning side twice against Newcastle, PSV Eindhoven. They're one of the big names who are under a little bit of pressure tonight. Bobby Robson's team had a 2-1 deficit to make up from their visit to Slovenia a fortnight ago. Metz, the French runners-up, were behind. Bilbao, the Spanish runners-up, were behind. Dynamo Kiev themselves were in trouble after the first leg. Such an important hurdle to clear this. One that Manchester United failed to clear a few years ago when Galatasaray got to them. All the talk about the money it cost you, but the disappointment to sit through the winter and watch the Champions League on ITV rather than have the opportunity to be involved. Difficult for these players to stomach. They've been very careful and very considered in their performance tonight. It's been very thorough display from Manchester United. Here's Sheringham just trying to embroider it with a goal. But inside the final 15 minutes, and ŁKS Łódź don't appear to have any more surprises up their sleeves. Manchester United throw. Got another game for a fortnight, Manchester United. All of their players have been involved in internationals before then. Keane with the challenge. And the drive, which was well struck, but always arrowing beyond the right-hand post of Bogusław Paweł.
But that's encouraging from Man U's point of view. That was almost vintage Keane, a block-busting tackle. Dismisses the opponent very easily and then goes in on goal. Just get the feeling now, though, don't you, that that's a good defensive header.
Stam forward towards Sheringham. It's come for Keane. Now Beckham.
That's possibly the first time all night, you know, he's lost concentration on that. He's been excellent for me tonight. He's been aware of people, he's worked up and down the field. He's almost weighed in with a goal on a couple of occasions with his free kicks, as well as the break he made off Giggs in the first half.
Jakubowski. So Manchester United successfully keeping Łódź at arm's length here. Neville with a header away. Pawlak. Bieszczycki. There's a chance for Pawlak, the skipper, to come forward and try to run Jaap Stam. And Stam not only held him up, but kept the ball in. In fact, the goal kick has been given. Stam looks as mystified as I.
I think he thinks they've been a bit unfair to him there. He's quite pleased there. He stayed against the run of Pawlak and he's got a hook tackle on him. Recovered and strolled through disdainful of the opposition and hasn't got his full accolades for it.
Sheringham into the path of Keane. Seems to be venturing forward more and more now. Some energy that he wants to expend before the end of the night.
As you said, they haven't got a game for 2 or 3 weeks. I mean,
well, he'll be the Irish team only against Croatia. That's Saturday week.
Yeah, well, this will be good for him now to test his fitness. You know, barring anything stupid now, they've seen the game through. And it's noticeable as well, though, as soon as he does go onto those sort of forward runs, straight away, Butt goes in and sits in as the anchor man.
foul by Solskjaer on Lennart. Well, pretty soggy, but a pretty happy ending to the evening. The Manchester United fans here are getting absolutely soaked. Right out in the open. There just isn't any cover in this crowd. Is there, Ron?
Not unless you know the members from... Not unless you know the people from Campari.
Stam hit that against his own man, Ronnie Johnson. We're actually under the white umbrella. Nobody else is. Crossed in towards Kos. Comfortable save for Schmeichel. Didn't get any power on the header. Chance for Tomasz Kos.
Yeah, he's been their best player. You know, I've made the point that both him and Nizhnik look the main threats to scoring a goal coming from midfield. I think overall Kos has been their best player. He's been involved at both ends of the field. At least he's still one of the few players they've got on the team now that's showing a desire to try and salvage something from the game.
Phil Neville. Sold David Beckham a little bit short there. Nizhnik was able to nick it away from him. Here is Kos. Run off the ball by Neville.
Oh, he's good at that, by the way. Every time somebody puts a bit of physical pressure on him, although he's a big fella, he goes to ground very quickly.
Tomasz Lennart is going to be replaced by Jacek Puchenik, who's a former international player, who apparently wants to leave Łódź.
I can't for a minute imagine why I haven't been here for a couple of days, can you?
Nizhnik will take the free kick. Headed by Kos, misdirected though, cleared by Neville. Into Solskjaer. Now Manchester United just need a goal to round the night off properly. Haven't won a knockout game away from home in Europe for 5 years since they were in Hungary against Honvéd in what was a preliminary in this competition before they went out to Galatasaray, actually. They have won Champions League games, of course. They won in Košice last year and in Rotterdam against Feyenoord. He's got a souvenir of his evening, a cut on his left knee. Lennart, who missed the first leg through injury. Sheringham. Cut out by Kos. It's underlining what Ron was saying. Still up for it. Jakubowski, one or two of his teammates' heads are beginning to drop, though. Krishak. Ronnie Johnson tidying up as Bieszczycki tried to get in.
That's what they haven't been able to do, the Polish side. They haven't been able to have enough zip to run in behind the United defence.
Quite a quiet, comfortable end to proceedings here in Łódź. I think if this was a boxing contest, the referee would be happy to step between the two contestants now and call it a day. One or two of the drenched fans are certainly making their way home now. Nizhnik. Puchenik. Run into Scholes. Beckham there again. Roy Keane. David Beckham. The shame he picked up that yellow card in the first half. He'll have to carry that with him into the Champions League. That's certainly where Manchester United seem to be heading now. Solskjaer penalised. Foul on Vyciskevich. It's the end of the evening for Jakubowski, the right back. He's had to worry about Ryan Giggs. And a rather belated beginning to the evening for Artur Bugaj, who's another forward. Playing only his third game for Łódź. Bugaj's gone out to that right-hand side. Here's Mattis. Tackle well by Jonsson. It's ironic that Alex Ferguson admits that he was originally opposed to the idea of runners-up qualifying for this competition. But the downside of Manchester United failing to win the title last year is that they will go into the Champions League draw in a group with 2 seeded teams in their section of 4. That's going to be a tough winter ahead. Beckham, though. Neville. It's come for Stam. Keane lost it. Beckham found it. On goes Keane. Tackled by Kos. Arsenal will go into the Champions League as a seeded team, as English champions, so they should have only one other seed in their group. And just to confirm that all of the Champions League games for the remainder of the season will be live and exclusive on ITV. And we'll be seeing a lot of him at his press conference here yesterday in an Irish pub. There's one everywhere. Semblance of a smile. Kos. Mattis. Jeszczycki. Trying to set himself with an angle for a shot and stab it in at Mattis. Neither of them came off. That's a terrific pass from Butt to Beckham. Sheringham and Solskjaer are forward. Nicky Butt, 3 more minutes. Phil Neville gets it back from Solskjaer.
He's enjoyed it as well, Neville, Philip Neville. Spent most of the game as an attacking player, which I think suits him far better.
Nicky Butt now. On his Solskjaer. Made space for the shot. Kept out at the near post by Vepawa. Turned down by Beckham. It's Solskjaer again. Challenged, though, by Pavlak. They've deserved a goal.
Yeah, it's a pity he couldn't have gone across the goal with his shot, you know. Pity he couldn't have shot at the other post. I mean, it was a reasonable chance, that, and full marks to Vepawa, the goalkeeper. He got a good block on it, but there seemed a nice gap at the far post for him to hit that.
Polish Footballer of the Year, the Łódź goalkeeper. Obviously had a big hand in their championship success last season. Only 23 years of age.
And that was a very good save, by the way, regardless of whether maybe Solskjaer should have shot across the face of him.
Bugaj. Nizhnik. Mattis. Here's Nizhnik. Bugaj with a little trick. Nothing that Manchester United haven't seen before. Final minute of a very satisfactory night's work for Manchester United, a very lucrative night's work, a very prestigious night's work.
Yeah, they say the important thing in a game like this is the result, and you know, a month after it's all finished, nobody remembers the game. But I think United can take a lot from the performance as well. Maybe they should have had a little bit more of a cutting edge, but the game died a little bit as well when Giggs went off. I think that was the moment when United probably thought, well, we've won it 2-0, and the opposition thought, well, that's a mercy sort of saving. They've just taken him off to save us any punishment.
Keane's header. Teddy Sheringham trying to volley it on.
He's not like it's not quite ham for him, has it? A minute left in the game. It's not quite ham for Sheringham. He's been willing, he's chased distances. Hasn't quite happened for him.
I mean, if one assumes that when Manchester United play again at home to Charlton in a fortnight's time, that Dwight Yorke will play, who do you think might be alongside him?
I think it'll be Cole. I think that'll be a nice pairing, that. I tell you what, you know, the talk you talked earlier about this four-man midfield here. They'll appreciate Dwight Yorke. Not only is he a skillful flair player, he's a super target man, link-up player. Midfield players will love him, and these four particularly will love playing off him.
Ron Atkinson, of course, has managed Dwight Yorke, knows him very well. Got the temperament to be a Manchester United player too, yeah?
Oh, without a shadow of doubt. He'll be a big success for Man U.
Well, he'll be licking his lips somewhere tonight, because his new club are seconds away from stepping in to the big world of the Champions League, and Dwight Yorke will be a part of that for Manchester United. Here's Koss for Łódź, who've been stubborn opponents, certainly in the first game, spirited at times tonight, but not quite good enough to really stretch Manchester United.
Getting back to Dwight quickly, he'd have been perfect for the role tonight, you know, because he can stay up the front, he can hold the ball in, but he's good enough, he's mobile enough to link all the other players into the game as well. And he can run the gullies as well, he's got enough pace to run gullies.
Łódź have a free kick. Maybe the last act of the night here. Manchester United safe and sound through to the Champions League. 2 goals in the first leg a fortnight ago were enough. Alex Ferguson's team easing through with a goalless draw here in Łódź tonight, and they will be a part of the Champions League again next month along with Arsenal. An interview with Alex Ferguson coming up after this break.
Hello again. After a less than convincing start to the new season, Manchester United have tonight looked very comfortable qualifying for the Champions League. 0-0 in Poland against ŁKS Łódź this evening. United 2-0 winners on aggregate. Manager Alex Ferguson is with Gary Newbon.
Alex, you got the result you wanted. It's going to be a lot harder in the competition proper, though.
Oh yes, I mean, we're well aware of that, but the experience of the last 2 championship challenges have been good, and I think they've learned things. Today there was a disappointing performance, controlled, never in any danger, but we could have done with scoring a goal, which we hoped in the second half we'd get.
And a positive word about David Beckham.
Yes, he did very well. The whole team did well. I thought Roy Keane was marvellous tonight, and our defending was very good. No, it was an assured performance, nothing special, but controlled.
And of course you've got Dwight Yorke to come into the competition proper.
Yes, now he's available for the next leg, the competition, the league section rather, and it'll be interesting for us.
Now, your midfield played very well. Was there any problem with Giggs tonight?
Just a little tight hamstring. We didn't want to take any chances. Nothing serious. He'll be okay for next week.
Okay, and you're back in Europe proper. Well done, Alex.
Thanks very much.
Yes, United into tomorrow's draw, but not such good news for Celtic. The key moments now of their second leg tie away to Croatia Zagreb.
Juric. Simic. Turn from Maric, and the drive from Maric, and the goal from Silvio Maric, which brings parity to the tie, and bedlam to Zagreb. Simic. Maric, he's gone down, and it's a penalty. It's Robert Prosinecki. Just how calm was that? Uduka held it up for Prosinecki. Maric in front of him. Prosinecki has a go himself and settles the tie.
3-1 to Croatia Zagreb on aggregate, and Celtic have to settle for a UEFA Cup place. John, problems really for Celtic, but controlled is what Alex Ferguson said about Manchester United tonight.
Yeah, it was. They were in command. Apart from the first 10 minutes, they were in control of the game. very professional performance. At half-time, we were talking about the possibility of Andy Cole coming on to really, you know, inject a bit of pace up front to go ahead and score the goal that Alex wanted. But they didn't have to go and win the game, and I thought it was a very professional performance.
Mark our card for us about United and Arsenal, their chances, because there is serious opposition there now. When you look at the qualifiers, the 8 automatic ones at the top there, and then
this is
the other 16.
This is the hardest Champions League for years. I mean, you look at Barcelona, Juventus, Inter Milan have now made it, Bayern Munich, Real Madrid, who are the holders. It's going to be very difficult. I'm a bit surprised that Lens are actually seeded ahead of Arsenal, because I thought that, you know, depending on which group Arsenal get in, it could be quite tricky.
Well, that's important. They're not seeded. We must remind people they're not seeded, neither are Porto, so that will mean that Arsenal will play any one of those big sides up there, Ajax, Kaiserslautern, Lens, Real Madrid, Juventus or Barcelona.
I think they'll be looking really to avoid Barcelona, Juventus or Ajax. I think I would expect Arsenal to go through against the other teams.
Inter Milan?
Well, they will be one of the favourites for it, because they had a tremendous season last year. Of course, Juventus won the league, but Inter pushed them all the way. Great players. I saw them play against Liverpool this year, where they played very well. Liverpool actually beat them at Anfield, but they're a very, very good side. But there are a lot of good teams there. What
are your thoughts about Arsenal playing their Champions League games at Wembley, home games?
Well, I mean, wonderful, because it's a huge stadium, but I think the intimidation at Highbury probably could stand them in good stead. Teams won't really be fearful of going to Wembley. It's a big stadium. The fans aren't close in.
Will it inspire the opposition, do you think?
I don't know whether it'll inspire them, but I don't think it'll frighten them, as it would do playing at Highbury. But, I mean, if you want a lot of people into the grounds, therefore, you have to go to Wembley. But I think that if Arsenal do get drawn at home in the first leg, they'll have to play away. I think it may coincide with a Spice Girl concert or something like that. So,
what can we realistically expect from United or Arsenal, briefly?
Well, I think United looked to improve on last year, and I think United really will be looking to get through to all the way. But I think a semi-final, at least the quarter-finals for both teams, because Arsenal impressed me this year. So I think both teams would do at least the quarter-finals.
OK, John, thank you very much. Well, Arsenal and Manchester United begin their Champions League campaigns here on ITV on September the 16th. This weekend, though, ITV brings you another Formula One extravaganza.
He's going up the inside of Villeneuve now. Beautiful move. Wins the Belgian Grand Prix.
Yes, F1 action from Belgium this weekend, but tonight it's a big thank you to John Barnes for his views, as ever, as Manchester United go through to the Champions League on cruise control. 2-0 aggregate winners after a goalless draw in Poland. Thanks for being with us. We'll see you soon. Bye for now.